Hi, I'm Cece. Welcome to Seedsteins, where we share the fruits of our labor with you. Here, we're a community of dreamers, supporting each other in our individual pursuits instead of waiting on others to validate our vision. I'll be sharing stories, tips, and motivation to help you drive towards your destiny without wasting time or money. Obviously, this mission starts with our family. So today, I'll be talking about how we manage our preteens' responsibilities around the house in a realistic way. Spoiler alert, it's not an allowance. If you are looking for an innovative and intuitive way to teach your child the value of $1, this video is for you. I'll start with a brief overview of the system. Essentially, it's a point system that I call the Famager. We start by laying out all of the tasks that need to be done around the house and then delegating them to different members of the family. This is on a regularly rotating schedule. Specifically, for our preteen, he's got daily and weekly tasks, and we use an Excel spreadsheet to lay out in a checkbox form what needs to be done each day. Each task is assigned a point value, and these points are redeemable for different rewards. I got this idea from an app that we used for a few years. After a while, the app started having some glitches, and so when I went to the App Store to make sure that I had the most updated version, I realized that the software hadn't been updated in a couple of years and concluded it probably wouldn't be updated anytime soon. So I wanted to transition to something that we could control ourselves. The original point system assigned point values largely based on the amount of time it took to complete the task. We've kind of stuck to that, so obviously more cumbersome tasks like sweeping and mopping the whole house get more points than making his bed each morning. Really, the point system is based on a 50-30-20 split philosophy for financial management. And that's how I manage our finances, where 50% goes to core mandatory living expenses, 30% goes towards discretionary spending, and 20% is split between investment, savings, and gifts. For him, even though the points don't really translate to investment, savings, or gifts, I wanted to instill this same idea that 50% is for core living expenses and the rest of it needs to be adjusted and managed appropriately. Essentially, if he does all of the tasks that are expected of him each week and no more, then his total point value should be twice as much as his core living expenses. We've made these core living expenses age appropriate just as the responsibilities are, and we adjust this every so often. He's got rent, which obviously we don't kick him out if he doesn't pay it. Really what we do is he kind of gets grounded, not so much in a you're a terrible person shameful way, but just clearly you missed a lot of opportunities to contribute to the household, and so you've got to spend more time at home, and it's going to be probably a no on some of those extra things outside of the house. The other thing is his phone bill. So instead of taking away his phone, he has the power to earn his phone by contributing to the house. For now, those two things are only payable in points, so he has to contribute to the house. Recently, we've had a situation where he spent a significant amount of money on in-app purchases without permission, and so we established a debt and a payment plan for him to pay them back. That payment plan is $50 per month. There is a reward set where he can redeem $30 at a time, but he has to reach the 300-point threshold. So he can't just earn $5 or $10 for doing one task or the other. He, through choosing what task he's going to do and whether it's going to be his regularly scheduled tasks or he'll take initiative to do some of the tasks that are usually the responsibility of myself or my husband, he has to figure out how he's going to earn those 300 points. He has to execute earning them. And once he's earned them, he can redeem $30. So he would have to earn $600 in order to get the 50 points that he needs to pay the debt. And that leaves him with $10 that he can spend on rewarding himself for accomplishing those tasks and meeting that goal. That's another important philosophy and practice that I want to instill in him, is celebrating when he accomplishes his goal and making sure that he saves some of what he earns to give back to himself. One of the things that we're probably going to have to adjust for in the future is that he's started working outside of the home. He works at a barbershop, sweeping floors and doing odd jobs like taking out the trash and wiping the sinks, and he gets paid in cash for that. Obviously, that cash that he gets lessens his motivation to do extra work around the house, which is fine. It's a struggle for me, but it's fine. Eventually, we're going to have to reassess, and we may add some things as requirements. Also, as he gets older, his rent is probably going to go up because that's how life goes. Rent goes up on the economy, and so does our quality of life. As we make more money, we change our lifestyle. And so he'll probably still get more responsibilities around the house, will increase the point value, and will also increase the amount of his core expenses. I like this system because it puts a buffer between us. Instead of constantly nagging him to do this thing or the other, I have to accept that I've given him the choice to choose what he's going to do and when he's not going to do it. And there's a natural consequence. Even though it is kind of structurally imposed, there's clear expectations and clear boundaries for what he is expected to do and what the consequences will be if he doesn't do them. Because they're preset consequences and they're based on his choices and his decisions, I get to take his side and feel just as bad for him when he loses his phone or his other privileges when he's not able to pay his debt, because I want him to have those things. And even though I am taking them away, I'm taking them away as a consequence from the choices that he made. Instead of him just not doing what I said or not meeting my desires, there's something laid out where he knows what is expected of him, and he knows that he has the opportunity to go out and earn it if that's what he chooses to do. As I've talked about throughout the video, it also allows us to really put some clarity as to what it means to dedicate your time and care to something, and what it means to contribute and earn based on what you do. I want to instill that entrepreneurial spirit in him where he sees something he wants and I've given him a way to go and get it on his own. If there's anything about this system that you think you want to implement in your home, I'd love if you comment below what stood out to you, or if you're doing something similar. If you want to use the template that we do for this system, then I've got a link below where you can download the Excel spreadsheet and make it your own. We'd love to hear about how it works for you and your family. Until next time, thanks for growing with us.